Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. This is about the Doom WAD. Let me share my screen. Welcome to people visiting the first time. And this is now my eighth stream. And we are on, I changed my planning a bit so that we will cover the Doom PDF. So next time I'm going to talk about PDF, JavaScript in PDF. If you're not familiar with the PDF basics, then I suggest looking at the first streams and especially the next ones if you want to see a bit more how we can manipulate PDFs. And then I will cover at last the PDF Doom. And I wanted to rush because I wouldn't be surprised if the PDF Doom stops working in the future, because sometimes they're like, oh yeah, but maybe this shouldn't be possible, so maybe this will not be possible in the future version. Anyway, tonight we are doing the WAD Doom, the WAD format of Doom, and Doom 1 and 2 and other first-person shooters um, used the WAD format. Uh, and for Stream 5, we covered the zip, which is a very standard file format. And actually, it's funny because Quake 3 started using the PK3, which is basically zip of files. And while it's sad because the WAD format is super elegant, and on the other hand, the zip is a bit is quite a mess. So yeah, I wish WAD was used more and zip was used less. First things first, there is another widespread WAD format, which is the we archive data, which is completely different. We will see a bit later what it's like in the structure. It's completely documented. It has nothing to do with Doom, and we will see. But it was widespread, and you can have Doom on Wii, and you can have Doom WADs on Wii. So yeah, it's possible, very likely to have a WAD, a Doom WAD in a Wii WAD. Before I go on further, I made two illustrations of the WAD, an overall one. Oh, by the way, WAD in the case of Doom stands with where's all the data, and in the case of we, it's like we archive data. So it's very different, very completely distinct format, totally unrelated. WAD is supported by the Dolphin emulator. It's completely wide, is a standard regarding Wii stuff. So, and the WAD is a standard for Doom stuff. So now what else? So Doom was used. Doom, maybe you heard of that game. Maybe. It's the WAD format was introduced for Doom 1, then Doom 2, then other first-person shooters like Hexen and others, Heretic most likely, and then it was extended a bit, but it doesn't mean that it's only used for that. And my surprise was to hear, when I was looking for WADs, is to hear about Sonic Roboblast 2, which is a fun game, and it's actually using the Doom engine. So very interesting. This game has been developed for a long while, and it's very interesting. And also, it has plenty of mods. And the main engine now is using Quake PK3, but the mods that you can still that you can download now are still provided in WAD. So a lot, which is why I was pretty confused earlier when looking for WADs, and suddenly seeing a lot of Sonic things. And that's not something I expected. Another thing with WAD is that we will see that it's a standard archive format, and there's no reason why it should only be used for Doom stuff. And it's actually used for example, for Leica camera. So here is blog entry from Alex Hude. Sorry, I don't know how to say Alex Hude. Hude. And basically, he's explaining his adventure with Leica firmware, which is basically using a WAD. I think, although if I recall correctly, maybe Vertex Neo Geo CD loader also use WAD for firmware. It's a very simple and elegant format. So yeah, it should be used more often, maybe, or at least its simplicity should be an example for more people. So uh, what else? Oops, not let's stop dooming. And so okay, so I had created a very, very tiny working. So this here is a valid WAD that I created, and it's a single room with just four walls. As simple as it could be, and but with different textures, and it's a valid file. I mean, it runs on the Doom. Of course, there is no exit and whatever, but the idea is to make it simple. So this is the complete file, and basically, this is exactly why I did a poster of that, to show an example. So that's a poster that you can again see on my GitHub, and that's the overall structure, because the WAD structure is like extremely simple. So first, you start with with um, with the magic, and the magic is iWAD or pWAD. Okay, then there is a count and an offset which will point to a directory. And the directory is just a table. So the count here is 6 and the offset is F000. I mean, sorry, F. Oops, what happened? Oops, sorry. The F0 and not F00. Yeah. And then at F0, but well, it just there's no other signature. It's just a table of here 6, as mentioned before, 6 entries in the directory. The and they all the entries are stored the same way. So basically, there is just a sequence of their offset on 4 bytes. So offset C here in this case for the first one, then the size, and then there is the name, and the name is a bit like P section table. It's 8 characters, and it's yeah, it's follow 8 characters, and it's padded with zeros. And one thing that immediately stands out is that there is a zero and these structures. So then that's the name of the structure, and the structures are called lumps. So let's move on, and let's move on to the other file. So basically, and when these E1 M1, if you're into Doom, if you know the original Doom, then you know that's episode 1, map 1, and basically those are just markers that are basically to define the structure, to tell the software where the data for this map starts and where it ends, basically, because it ends with the following empty map marker. So basically, we have here 6 pointers. Let me check if there are questions. No questions. And congrats, Vincent, for being early. And there are 4 structures, and they have standard names, and that's all there is. That's the only thing about Doom WADs, is that there is a directory, offset, size, and name on 8 bytes maximum, and that's all. And then whatever is pointed and its size, it only depends of the external parser. And as you could guess, Doom WADs are completely different from Leica WADs, from Sonic. Uh, I forgot the name again. Realbo, RB. What's the name again? So Sonic Roboblast 2. Sorry for that. So basically, the parsing will depend on the actual name of the of the lump, and basically, which means that there would be a lot of things, line defs and side defs, and the only difference is whether they follow E1 M1, E1 M2, and so on. So extremely simple structure. I believe in Doom, what the structure, the directory is following the rest, I believe it's just for easier generation when you install the software, or rather than keeping track of where to put, you may, I mean, that way you can write it on the fly. But on more modern WADs like Leica one, the directory is directly at the beginning. Most likely the file was not written on the fly, but on in one shot. And then there is a very simple structure that depends, in the case of Doom, on every element. So if the lamp is a things, that's the name of the that's the name of the lamp. So basically, its size will determine how many things are stored in that lamp, and so on. Line depths, vertexes. So you can see also that the mm, um, textures are also on 8 characters, and yes, they are defined textures in the stream in the resources of Doom. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward because this file is very minimal. And again, that was the minimum file that I could do to get something working and to document. And it ends up very, very nicely, because I mean, it's a very minimal format. There's nothing super complex and so on. So a very simple and elegant format that sadly is not used too much. I mean, I understand why the zip ended up being so complex, but it's like the WAD started simple and could still be in use for lots of cases. We should maybe do a new WAD or something. I'm half joking. Uh, you get the idea. So as you could tell, if you just since the start of the WAD, there's the signature, then there is a number of elements, and if you and all you need is what do they say? All you Here is the offset of the directory. So basically, if you would insert anything here, then all you would need would be just to update the you just would just have to update the pointer, and it would still be a valid WAP. There's no checks. There's no checks whatsoever. It's not a format with any security. But yeah, it's does its job pretty well, right? Because you just want to store some data, then that's it. So basically, you could store whatever you want. So this is exactly what I did. I here very early in the file, before you could put some hello world if you would move all the contents of the lamp, or again, here if you would say just before the directory, the WAD directory. And of course, you could have some gap spaces between all the lamps. There is nothing to prevent that. There's no reason. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there would be some optimization that lamps are actually pointing to the same content. Like garbage collecting, let's put it that way, or duplicating entries, saving time. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. So in the case of an actual, let's go just for something else. Now, if we look at the WAD, we'll see that the structure has absolutely nothing to do. First it starts with the length of the header on so if I recall correctly. So it's a very completely different structure. It's encrypted usually. I'm not the expert on that, but it's totally different in all aspects. And at the end, there is nothing like a WAD directory. So that's clear for that the WAD is totally different, unrelated, even though the name is overlapping. The names are overlapping, and the files are both famous. The formats are both famous. The Leica WAD, nothing. I mean, okay, so it's a modern stuff. So here you have some XML and whatever you wouldn't expect in a Doom file. And there are PWADs in the WAD. Okay, because why not? And again, this has nothing to do with Doom. And if you notice that the pointer is right at the directory is right at the beginning. So a WAD, shows that it's valid WAD, and it shows the simplicity of WAD once again. But the format, the whole layout of the file is completely different. Here I am at the bottom, so I don't know what that is. Maybe it's compressed, or no, it doesn't look. I don't know. Maybe it's executable. I don't know. Yeah. So that's the kind of WAD files used for totally something unlike Doom. Of course, I wouldn't be surprised if it's possible to do one WAD that is a valid Leica firmware, a valid Sonic for mod, and a valid Doom mm, table mod or whatever. But yeah, I'm not sure there's a point. But again, there's very little verification. And one last thing I wanted to do is show the actual Doom WADs. So again, it wouldn't make too much sense. I mean, unless you think that is just very, very compact information like all of this. So then it would make sense. None of these are standard file formats. They are just specific structures. And at the end, you have the WAD table, um, as you can like. And if you see, so if we look for E1M1, we will most likely see, so play pal, that's the start, and then color map and Doom, demo, and suddenly here we see that the length is 0, and we see the first markers, E1M1, then things, some subsectors, nodes, and then E1M2, and so on. So now we can see that it's pretty easy to navigate. So here, for example, let's highlight it. That's the third level of the first episode. So yeah, as you can see, just used the same way over the whole file. I'm not sure why the alignment has changed. It's interesting. Is there a break between the? Okay. Oh yeah, that's probably the resources of the file. Of course, the resources, because that's not just a patch. That's a whole game resource. So you have the maps, but of course you have all these resources, and you can see their names here: Tech Wall 5, Compute 1. So most likely we will see them this time as lumps themselves to define the textures and so on. Any questions? No questions. Okay, so now we can, again, the WAD is very simple and elegant. The complexity of Doom is also underneath in all the content of the lumps. I'm not going to cover that here. I just want that we are familiar with what the WAD is. So when we look at the Doom PDF, and I hope you have. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have more information. I'm checking if I forgot anything. And yeah, I think that's thanks for your attention. And better play in oh, I don't have weapon. Oh yeah, I have weapons. I'm saved. Okay. Yeah, thanks for your time. And yes, and see you next stream for regarding PDF with JavaScript, so that then we can cover the Doom PDF, that famous Doom PDF. Okay, thanks a lot, everyone. And yes, see you next stream. And remember that if you're not familiar with PDFs, check the earlier streams so that you are ready to understand all the manipulations and the context and everything. Thank you. Thanks for your attention. See you next time.